Brad Pitt and the Hope of a Forgotten Town 1. June morning, Brad Pitt decided to leave the chaos of Hollywood behind and head to a quiet town in the Midwest to relax. The small town, where the wind gently blew and the wide fields met the sky, was called Halford. Once a mining hub, Halford had struggled with economic difficulties over the years and was almost completely abandoned. However, Brad wasn't looking for an escape. He wanted to explore the silence and the traces of the past. For him, this was more about discovery than escaping. At the entrance to the town, there was a sign, "Welcome to Halford. Population 372." Brad slowly drove along the old worn main street. The closed shops, broken windows, and cracked sidewalks silently whispered the town's history. Yet, even in the solitude, there was a pull. As he neared the town center, his eyes caught a group of kids playing basketball on an old court with a crooked hoop. Their clothes were worn, but their joy was full. Brad pulled over and walked toward the basketball court. When one of the kids noticed him, his eyes widened. "Hey, you! You're Brad Pitt!" he shouted. The other kids ran over to him. Brad smiled and bent down. "Yes, that's me. But how about you? You're playing here, but your ball looks almost torn," he said. The excitement in the kids was incredible. What fascinated them wasn't just Brad being famous, but the way he, as an outsider, was curious about their lives. One of the kids, 10-year-old Alex, said, "We don't have money for a new ball, but this old one still works. There's not much to do here anyway." These words tugged at Brad's heart. A town that once lived with so much joy was now home to a few families struggling to survive. After playing with the kids for a short while, Brad said goodbye and went to the town's small cafe. As he walked in, he felt as though time had stopped. The owner, Maggie, a sweet woman in her 60s, greeted him with surprise. "Brad Pitt? In Halford?" she asked, laughing. The cafe was one of the few remaining social spots in the town, and Maggie chatted warmly with her few customers. As Brad sipped his coffee, Maggie told him the story of the town. After the mines closed, Halford became a place of rising unemployment, where young people moved to big cities and hope faded away. "There was life here once," Maggie said. "In the summer evenings, there were festivals. The kids would run around in the streets. But things changed. People left. And now, those of us who remain, we just dream of the way things used to be." Maggie's eyes showed both a longing for the past and a quiet acceptance. Listening to Maggie's story, Brad felt that he had to do something. This town needed a spark of hope before it was completely forgotten. "Maggie," he said, "we can bring life back to this town, but you need to tell me how we should start." Rebuilding the community, the next day, Brad called all the residents of Halford to a meeting. A small crowd gathered in the town square on the main street to listen. "This town was once full of life, and the people still here are enough to make it a livable place again. But we need to work together," he said. Brad's speech lit a spark of hope in the people's eyes. As the first step, they decided to repair the old community center. This building had once been the center of weddings, festivals, and events. Now, it had been left to fall apart. Brad funded the purchase of materials out of his own pocket and called a few friends from Hollywood for help. For days, Brad and the townspeople worked together. They painted, replaced broken windows, and gave the old building new life. But it wasn't just the building that was changing. People's faces were changing too. During this process, Brad had a special basketball court built for the children and gave them new sports equipment. It wasn't just a basketball court, it was a symbol of hope, a place to escape, and a space to come together. The words, "Dreams begin here," were written in large letters on the court, capturing the meaning of the space. The kids smiled more, and families began to talk about the future again. Grand opening and new hopes. After months of hard work, the community center was reopened. At the grand opening event, Brad Pitt held a big celebration to witness Halford's rebirth. He invited a few celebrity friends from Hollywood, drawing both the townspeople and the outside world to the event. Some former residents came back, and Halford regained its sense of community. At the end of the event, everyone shared one feeling: they were stronger together. During the event, Brad took the microphone and said, "The heart of a town is its people, and the people of Halford have shown me how strong they are. This place is no longer just a place, it's a family." Halford's new beginning after the event, the changes continued. Halford, with this initiative, opened the door to new opportunities. The community center became a hub for events, and new businesses started to open. Brad Pitt turned the story of this small town into a documentary and shared it with the world, inspiring others. People began investing in Halford. Small shops opened, old houses were renovated, and the town came back to life. In the end, when Brad left Halford, he saw a scene that brought tears to his eyes. The children were laughing and playing on the new basketball court. Maggie was serving customers outside her cafe. People had come together once again to help each other. Halford was no longer just a dot on the map, but a place where people rediscovered hope. And this was a powerful story showing that one person can make a difference.